खोलो मेरा गाना को मैं हूँ तेरा गुरु ज्ञान
पढ़ो सब परिवार पूचुर मनावे सब परिवार पूचुर मनावे
गूंगा गाना
गुंगा गाना
गूंगा गाना गावे गूंगा गाना गावे
गुंगा गाना गावे गुंगा गाना गावे
सब परिवार पूचुर मनावे सब परिवार पूचुर मनावे
गुंगा गाना गावे गुंगा गाना गावे
गूंगा गाना गावे गूंगा गाना गावे
Everybody do the dance. Wash the clothes, hang it up. Wash the clothes and hang it up. Wash the clothes, hang it up. Wash the clothes, because it's snow. Wash the clothes, hang it up. Wash the clothes and hang it up. Wash the clothes, hang it up. Wash the clothes.
गूंगा गावे लंगड़ा नाचे अंधा के मन भावे गूंगा गावे लंगड़ा नाचे अंधा के मन भावे तीन के पीछे का रंग नाचे तीन के पीछे का रंग नाचे मृगमुन से भी बचावे
गुंगा गाना गावे गुंगा गाना गावे
गूंगा गाना गावे गूंगा गाना गावे
सब परिवार कुचुर मनावे सब परिवार कुचुर मनावे गुंगा गाना गावे गुंगा गाना गावे
गूंगा गाना गावे गूंगा गाना गावे
Everybody do the dance. Wash the clothes, hang it up. Wash the clothes and hang it up. Wash the clothes, hang it up. Wash the clothes, because it's snow. Wash the clothes, hang it up. Wash the clothes and hang it up. Wash the clothes, hang it up. Wash the clothes.
टाटिस राग और टाटिस रागनी पंचासुर मिलावे टाटिस राग और टाटिस रागनी पंचासुर मिलावे अरे गम सारे गम गूंगा गावे अरे गम सारे गम गूंगा गावे वही रात पे मन भावे
गुंगा गाना गावे गुंगा गाना गावे
गूंगा गाना गावे गूंगा गाना गावे
सब परिवार कुचुर मनावे सब परिवार कुचुर मनावे
गूंगा गाना गावे गूंगा गाना गावे
गुंगा गाना गावे गुंगा गाना गावे
Good evening. Hey, welcome to the Caribbean Voice presentation of the Mind Body Connection with my co-host, Mr. Hiram. Tonight he is in full action. He had took all his medical vaccines and his herbal medication, Karila juice, and he's up and ready to speak tonight. But before we do, we hope you guys had a fantastic Monday. What a beautiful day. I know he's well rested. How are you, Mr. Hiram?
Well, Shanaz and the viewers, good evening to you guys. I am back. I'm so glad I missed you guys, but I was in the background listening and then commenting. So today wasn't bad. I rested and did a lot of reading this morning. And so I'm ready for today. I was so happy when I was doing this, Shanaz, because I know it's helpful information.
It is helpful, and so many folks are expecting us to be on every Monday, whether it's a holiday or not. We make it our duty. If you are here, we are here with you. We are the Caribbean Voice team. Every Monday, 8 to 10 p.m. Well, today we're going to be talking about measles and ADHD.
ADHD.
It's so many things going on, but how was your day? You had a fantastic day?
Yes, yes, absolutely.
And I
It's
hope you
beautiful.
guys that's locked on had a fantastic day as well. My motto is make hay while the sun shines.
Absolutely.
Do not procrastinate. Do not leave things for tomorrow because tomorrow is not guaranteed for either one of us.
Yes, yes. And Shanaz, as you know, in life every day we hear somebody drop down and died. And
A young
always-
girl I heard in Toronto passed away. I didn't know why, but she was only 34 years. I have to go back and read that article. And it's surprisingly, and I just read someone in Guyana lost her battle to sickness when she left behind a triplet.
Wow, yes, I did see that story.
Yes, so that's another article I have to go read. So every day that we read all these things, it just make us see how valuable life is and how
Short it
nice.
is.
Yeah, it's very short, and we should be kinder to each other and be a little bit more helpful. I love your motto. If you cannot help someone, do not hurt them in the process.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So guys, let's say goodnight to Mr. John Nimat. John is our number one for tonight. Where is the famous John from Queens? He is our number one YouTuber representing our West Indian community. Hey, the beautiful Geeta Ramprasad in our studio audience today. Usha Azimula, thank you very much. Bibi Singh, good night, Bibi Ahmad, our very own Caribbean voice. And the beautiful Bibi Amina, good evening to you. How you guys are doing? Good night to each and every one of you. Debbie Roberts, Debbie
My neighbor.
Sanasi, and the beautiful Debbie Roberts. Hey, familiar faces, familiar names for Mr. Kenneth Hiram tonight. Bibi Singh. It seems like we have all the Bibi in the studio
Yeah,
tonight.
Bibi, actually, one of my good friends for over 40 years. She is in Virginia and she works with kids. So thank you very much for tuning in.
And we will be
my
loving
friend.
to read her comments later as
Yes,
she'll be
yes.
putting her input out there. And I want you guys to all, Varshini is on also. I wonder where Varshini is locked on from. The beautiful Geeta Baldeo, good night to you. Mr. John Demet, thank you very much. Yes, I am recuperating and I seem like I'm winning Kenneth at this one. I took more of the herbal medications and guess what? He have a whole plate of Ricola. It seems to do the trick, not forgetting our herbal tea. Your health is your wealth. Pay attention to what you need today. Ravin, how are you doing tonight? Mr. Nandalal and the beautiful Liz Paduman in Guyana. Good night, good night. Should we get joined? Hey, Mr. Don Isahak, how are you doing? And how is Uncle Ken doing? Well, Uncle Ken is doing fine. At the end of our program, he might be doing a little bit more better. And Usha said she's hungry. It's time for 7 curry in New York. We're barbecuing today, and I know Ken had chow mein, barbecue chicken. I don't know what else is on the menu, but he always have, his family love. They partake in cooking. That's their love. They cook and they spend time in the kitchen. And it's very important to spend time, especially when you have youngsters in the house. You want to teach them that value.
Absolutely. I see we have Rajib Nandalal locked on. That's our son. He lives in Mount Vernon. I see we have like a new listener here, Nashima Rahman. Thank you very much for locking in with us. Zabida Hussein, Bibi Umarali. Thank you for locking in. We got our DJ Arvinda Kedarnath is watching. His mom is watching, Nayan from Essequibo Coast in Guyana. And then we have Vimala Prasad. Thank you guys for locking in. Today we have, Shanaz, as I was planning this topic to talk about, I was feeling so good. I was hoping that my voice would help me to run with this.
Well, you
because
will run
it's a
with this. You
topic I
sound
want
very
to
good.
Run with, you know what I mean?
Yes, we can all run today. It's a beautiful day. It's sunny outside. Not forgetting when you're outdoor to get, fluids, hydrate yourself. Indra, good night to you. Geeta Baldev, Hardat, how you doing? Hardat Raj Kumar, good night to you. Salim, wherever you're locked onto Island Zone Radio. Every Monday, 8 to 10 p.m. is the Caribbean Voice presentation of the Mind-Body Connection. Mr. Salim Bacchus, good evening to you. Big up to Guyana and big up to all you wonderful folks. If you're from Guyana, share the link because we have some informative information coming up. It's so many good things happening when it comes to the Caribbean Voice. We are planning a show in June 29 in Orlando, the Sip and Chat restaurant. July 13 in NYC, and August 3rd we are heading to Berbice. That is the place, and we're looking for DJs and not forgetting anyone who wants to partake and be a part of the Caribbean Voice. This is your time to dedicate your time and talent. We're looking for individuals who want to be on stage, off stage. So many things will be happening. Hey Mario, good evening to you. World War Boss, good evening, good evening. Annie Rampersad.
Watching from Guyana, Berbice.
A big up to Barbicians. I'm from Barbice as well. Nanda Budai, good evening, good evening. I hope you guys had a fantastic day. If you didn't, well, stay tuned. Our DJ have some fantastic tune along with our informative session we have for you tonight. Zabida Hussein, thank you guys for locking on to Island Zone Radio.
And we have Angela Ramsa locked on. Thank you very much. She always adds some spice when we're on.
Well, Angela, thank you very much. Remember, you guys are all members of the Caribbean Voice. Hit share. You never know who will be listening to our program and who might need the help. 5 minutes of your time could save a life. We are all here to make a difference. Start today with the Caribbean Voice. Reach out to us if you know someone in need of counseling when it comes to suicide, domestic abuse, violence, or alcoholism. We say no to that, so reach out to us, the Caribbean Voice. Well, today was making headlines for the last few weeks was measles.
Right,
And
absolutely.
seeing that we both work in the healthcare field, I know how important it is getting your measles shot.
Absolutely.
And coming from Guyana, I believe that's like a little stamp we all got.
Yes.
Right? You got it, Gita got it, we all got it, and it's a little stamp and it says, I got my measles shot.
Yes.
And it's very, very important. What is measles? Well, measles is a virus that's caused by fever, rash, and it could be very deadly. And we at work, we sent home one of the employees because we did the annual blood work for measles, mumps, and rubella, MMR, and he came back that his immunity was low, so he needed that
okay.
shot.
Okay.
So it takes 4 days. You have to be out of the premises if you're working, you know, that on the healthcare facility or schools or wherever you are. You have to be out for 4 days until it gets fully active in your body. Now, you only need one dose of that shot, am I right?
Yes, and there is other booster shots that you could take after a couple of months. You know, and what we want to say, Shanaz, and to our viewers, recently there is a current large outbreak of measles, a highly contagious virus in parts of New York City and predominantly in Williamsburg and Borough Park in Brooklyn, you know, where there is a lot of Jews, and we didn't want to say this as a whole, and you know, mainly because people are traveling a lot in those areas to out of the United States. On April the 9th, 2019, the New York State Health Commission declared a public health emergency and ordered that every adult and child who lives, work, or spend time in zip code 11205, 11206, 11211, and 11249 should be vaccinated. If the health department identifies an unvaccinated person exposed to measles in those zip code, that individual or the parents or guardian could be fined up to $1,000, and it could go on up to $2,000. You know, measles can be prevented easily, and one of the safest thing you can do is to be vaccinated, and that's the best thing that you can ever do. Because number one, if you expose to someone if they come into a room,
you start coughing.
That's how you get it, the droplets. And if they're there like for 4 hours, even 2 to 3 hours after they're left in that room, and you come into that room, you can be exposed. And I think 90% of people do get the measles.
Once in their lifetime.
Yeah, you know, as we had it as kids in Guyana. I'm sorry I couldn't bring up the slide that I planned to bring up here today. So it's important that you get that vaccine, especially if you have young children. Don't hesitate to get that vaccine. Also, you know, there was a stigma that was around. They said that people who get the shot for measles, that they would become getting autism. And there is scientific study that was done and says no, you cannot get. It's just a myth. Right. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have not get your MMR vaccine, which is your mumps, measles, and your rubella, please go ahead, talk to your doctor, arrange for you to get that shot, so that you would not be able to get that.
You wouldn't expose yourself for all these, viruses. And I got my shot, so I would urge you guys to go and protect yourself. And if you know someone who needs it, encourage them as well. I know some religion was using this as an excuse that they cannot vaccinate their child or the children because of religious reasons. But you know what? If you're exposing your child to public school and your child is in there, I would like your child to get the vaccine.
Absolutely.
You know, not unless you're home parenting, you're teaching your child at home. Well, then maybe you can. It's your right, so you can go against it. But I think it's going to be national that you have to. It's regulatory to get your measles, mumps, and rubella.
Yeah, and what happens is that you get you get some sores at the back of your throat, and you get a lot of rash you generalize on your body. So it's always good to make sure you get that vaccine, as you said, Shania, to prevent this. What we're going to do tonight is a very important topic. We're going to talk about ADD and ADHD. I've spoke to Dr. Tan, who is a psychiatrist, and we have talked about this in detail. And what he had told me that they are so closely related that we don't really need to talk about ADD too much in depth. So tonight I'm just going to basically talk about ADD a little bit, and then we're going to talk about ADHD in detail. And there's so much information, especially for parents to know. We can go and get
Well, let's take a music break, and when I come back, I have an appeal for a few of you guys. I messaged you and I said, keep it locked. I have an appeal for you right here on Facebook Live. Hey, good night to the beautiful Nasima, Rohama, and Gita, Baldo, Christina, Gokul. Good evening, good evening. Thank you guys very much. Maya Sahoya, how you doing? Mr. Sateshwar Prasad, your name is on my list. Prince Omar, good evening to you. Maureen Ramcharan, good night to each and every one of you, wherever you're locked on from. This is an appeal to Mr. J.P. Sukut, which is known as Permanent Sukut, the Justice of Peace of Guyana. Julie Singh, Gopal, Budram, hey, Mr. Rampatop Singh, Zalina Bagru, Ramesh Ali, Vishan Shiftaran, Ravin Kisoon, Razia Hussain, Una Prasad, Mr. Kumar, Joe Thomas, Nalini, Sonia Debadine, Miles Alex, and yes, Mr. Sateshwar Prasad. Your names are on this famous list of an appeal that we are making on behalf of the Caribbean Voice. I know you guys are generous enough to make a donation of $5 or $10 to us, the Caribbean Voice, and we urge you to mail it. The address will be in our inbox shortly as we get more informative information coming up right after this DJ break. Stay tuned.
I see you calling out all your friends then. That's
all
a good
my friends and my supporters who know that Caribbean Voice is here to make a difference.
Absolutely.
So week after week, I'll be selecting a handful of people, and your name could be on this famous list that we will be looking forward. We'll be looking forward for your donations coming up. From the Caribbean Voice, do enjoy this tune. Let's go.
I'm not leaving, that's impossible to do. Cause if you want me to go, you can be looking the way you do. You can be cooking the way you do. You can be hooking me. If you want me to go, you can be looking the way you do. You can be walking the way you do. Because you're hooking me. Come on. I don't know what to do, so I'm pleading. Plus you ain't give me no reason. You tell me this is the end of the season. Mash up everything, dress so. But you don't understand when you watch me. I said I see that I win the lottery. How you go pick up just so and then dump me? No, baby, no. But you pack on me clothes in a garbage bag. You put it on the ground by the roadside. You turn the cat out your place to come inside. Baby, don't do me that. You go break me heart. Can't believe you're ready to give up on me just so. Cause if you want me to go, you can be looking the way you do. You can be cooking the way you do. You can be hooking me. If you want me to go, you can be looking the way you do. You can be walking the way you do. Because you're hooking me. No matter what I say, you ain't hearing. You say the love disappearing. On the drawer and cupboard you're clearing. Mash up with thing, dress so. When I met you, Marsha, you tell me, hey, that is a trophy. So if you throw away the thing, it go hurt me. No, baby, no. But you pack on me clothes in a garbage bag. You put it on the ground by the roadside. You turn the cat out your place to come inside. Baby, don't do it that. You go break me heart. Can't believe you're ready to give up on me just so. Cause if you want me to go, you can be looking the way you do. You can be cooking the way you do. You can be hooking me. If you want me to go, you can be looking the way you do. You can be walking the way you do. Because you're hooking me. You done hook me already. Could it be your cute pretty face? Could it be the oil in your waist? Make me feel like I had to chase you. Hook me already. Girl, you're smart, you know how to spend.
But this relationship thing, boy, is a problem, daddy boy. Problem.
I know what you're saying.
Well, this relationship is not a problem. You could join us every Monday, 8 to 10 p.m. You have your team, Mr. Kenneth Hiram, drinking his tea, and everyone is saying ginger is good for you. Ginger is very good for you, and he's drinking some ginger tea. I also have some ginger tea in the studio. Well, good night to each and every one of you. All of you just joining us, you're locked on to the Caribbean Voice, the mind-body connection every Monday. Let's see who's new. Well, we have the beautiful Geeta Ram Prasad. Hey, good evening to each and every one of you. Hey, Liz, good evening to you. And I did put that address in to mail your checks to 1936 Daly Avenue, Bronx, New York. Make it payable to the Caribbean Voice. We are a non-for-profit organization, and we use all your funds for various work. Like we have a couple of pallets we'll be mailing to Guyana. We also have a vehicle we'll be mailing to Guyana. So we do need the funds. Making a difference when it comes to saving lives in Guyana. The Caribbean Voice is here.
Absolutely. So let's start, Shanaz, with ADD and ADHD. Your child daydreams a lot in school, and it's easy distracted when he or she's doing homework or chores. Maybe he or she's fidgety constantly. You might wonder, if it's attention deficit hyperactive disorder, which is ADHD, or it's attention deficit disorder, which is ADD. And is there a difference? Many people use the term to mean the same thing, and that's sometimes correct, but not always. ADD is a type of ADHD that doesn't involve constant movement and fidgeting, but it is a blur distinction. The confusion date is 1994, that when a doctor decided all forms of attention deficit disorder would be called attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and we know that that person is hyperactivity, always moving, always doing something.
Cannot sit still, they're always fidgeting.
Right. Even if that person wasn't hyperactive, which term is right for your family to use depends on your child's specific symptoms and diagnosis. It is important to talk with an experienced mental health provider to make sure that your child get the right diagnosis. We here on this program,
we're not professionals, and you as parents, we could be the best at parenting, but leave these diagnoses to the professional, the doctors. As it says, ADHD can be going from children to teens to adolescents and to adults.
Right.
And can it be cured?
You know what, with medication, it could be controlled.
It could be very much controlled. We'll get into all the eating habits and what you could do to slow it down and reduce it by almost 50%. I was doing a lot of reading. And yes, children with ADHD may be hyperactive and unable to control their impulse and maybe, hard to pay attention in school sometimes. And we're quick as parents or as teachers to lose the patience with them and say, you know what, something is wrong, they have ADHD or ADD, but we're not professionals to judge. Take them, and I believe these doctors will be observing them. They'll run specific blood tests to see what deficiency you're having, and remember, it's all triggering from the brain.
Right, and the CDC offers an ADHD checklist for children that may help, track their behavior. And, as we were talking, but we'll go later we know.
ADHD is not caused from a lack of discipline, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Your child diagnosis will depend on specific symptoms. And you know what? It depends on we as parents and the teachers, we have to observe that child. And it will take them a couple of months before they could really diagnose of what it is really that this child has. Kids with this condition aren't hyperactive. They doesn't have the high energy level seen in others with ADHD. In fact, children with this form may seem shy, or in their own words, ADD is diagnosed if a child is under 16 years of age, has 6 or more symptoms of inaction, 5 or more for older teens, for at least 6 consecutive months, but no signs of hyperactivity. So from what I was reading is that if you're ADD, you doesn't have that hyperactive too much. You doesn't have that movement too much. And I'm going to say the symptoms for ADD, and then we'll jump into ADHD. The symptoms include trouble paying attention, easily sidetracked, doesn't like or avoid long mental tasks such as homework, trouble staying on task during school, at home, or even at work, disorganized and seem forgetful, doesn't appear to listen when directly spoken to, doesn't pay close attention to details, lose things often, makes careless mistakes. Children with the type of ADHD may go undiagnosed because the symptoms may be chalked up as they are daydreaming. So as I was reading today, I said, what, let me open with this so that we can be able to help parents to help their children understand what's going on. Helping your child or teen with ADD disorder, life with a child with ADHD or ADD can be frustrating and overwhelming. But as parents, there's a lot you can do to help control and reduce the symptoms. You can help your child overcome daily challenges, channel their energy into positive arenas, and bring greater calm to your family. The earlier and more consistent you address your child's problem, the greater chance they have for success in life. And children with the ADHD generally have deficits in executive function, the ability to think and plan ahead, organize, control impulses, and complete tasks. That means you need to take over the executive, providing extra guidance with your child gradually acquire executive skills of their own. As we are saying, that these children don't have these executive orders.
They need more guidance. They need more patience.
As parents, you have to have that responsibility to help and to guide your child. Although the symptoms of ADHD can be nothing short of exasperating, it is important to remember that the child with ADHD is ignoring, annoying, or embarrassing. You are not actually, it's not actually willful. The child is not doing that. Kids with ADHD want to sit quietly. They want to make room tidy and organized. They want to do everything that their parents says to do, but they don't know how to do it and how to make all these things happen. If you want to, you have to keep in mind that ADHD is just as frustrating for your child. It will be a lot easier to respond in positive, supportive way with patience, compassion, and plenty of support. You can manage children with ADHD while enjoying a stable and happy home with ADHD and your family before you can successfully parent a child with ADHD. It's essential to understand the impact of your child's symptoms on the family as a whole. Children with ADHD exhibit a slew of behavior that can disrupt family life. They often don't hear parents' instruction. We say in Ghana, they're stubborn, they don't want to listen.
Yes.
But the truth of the matter is that these children, they cannot help themselves.
They cannot self-focus, they interrupt their trouble, waiting their turns, they cannot understand when it comes to their turn. They're emotional, they have turmoil, fidgetness, and unforgetting tasks sometimes. They cannot complete a task. But the question is having ADHD a bad thing? Well, research said it's not a bad thing. You could turn out to be blessed kids, creative,
intelligent
folks, very intelligent and creative folks. So it's all about controlling and managing all of that.
Yes, and so they don't obey them. They are disorganized and easily distracted. Other family members waiting, or they start projects and forget to finish them, let alone clean up after themselves. Children with impulsive issues and interrupt conversation demand attention in appropriate times and speak before they think, saying tactless or embarrassing things. And as parents, if your children do these kind of things, you don't want that to happen.
Right.
You're embarrassed, right?
Because again, you feel like they're disrespecting you, or it's a kind of bad reaction on your part. You're not disciplining your children, but it's not part of their discipline. You could be the best parent and discipline them. You can have 4 well-groomed children, and one of them, it doesn't reflect on you. They don't want that bad reflection as a bad parent, but it doesn't have no reflection on you because it's not part of your discipline routine.
Yes, and it's often difficult to get them to go to bed, to sleep. Hyperactive children may tear down the house or even put themselves in physical danger. Because of the behavior, siblings of children with ADHD face a number of challenges. They need often get less attention than those children with ADHD. And why? Because if you have ADHD, your parents will seem to give you all the attention, always yelling at you, always putting you down, rather than the rest of kids. Nobody pay attention to them, and there is some feelings of jealousy and so on.
Well, that just remind me of a movie called Home Alone, the famous movie Home Alone, which all of you have seen before. And, you know, the parents had so many children. They're always well taught, well mannered. And one of them, the little one, who named Kevin, seemed to be always in trouble. Yes. Right? So you guys can reflect on that movie. But, you know, he wasn't really a bad kid. He was a very sweet and loving kid. But maybe he had some kind of things going on. So you cannot separate them. They're all your children. You have to love them equally. Give them all time and attention. And remember, ADHD can be deficiency in certain type of food. You know, when you go to the doctor, that's the first thing they do. They do all the tests. Vitamins can help. And I read that zinc, iron, magnesium, vitamin B is very good. Multivitamins also is very good. And if you have a daily dose of omega-3 fatty acid, which is found in salmon, sardine, and tuna, it will improve your brain function and your nerve cell function, which reduces the ADHD by 50% or more symptoms of ADHD. And that's very good. You know, if you know what to add to your kids' diet to reduce their hyperactivity, will be very good.
And we will go to diet sometime later on. They needs to often get less attention, as we know, as we said. You know, like brother and sister with ADHD mixed, like we said, with jealousy and resentment. The demand of monitoring a child with ADHD can be physically and mentally exhausting. Your child's inability to listen can lead to frustration, that frustration to anger, following by guilt about being angry to your child. Your child behavior can make you anxious and stressed. If there's a basic difference between your personality and that of your child with ADHD, their behavior can be especially difficult to accept. In order to meet the challenges of raising a child with ADHD, you must be able to master the combination of compassion and consistency. Living in a home that provides both love and structure is the best thing for a child or teenager who is learning to manage ADHD. We can say hello to some of our viewers, and when we come back, we will talk what is ADHD. We will also talk about the signs and symptoms of ADHD.
Hey, Linai, good night to you. Naresh, how are you doing? Good night, good night. Thank you guys for joining us. Josh Jaikaran, good evening to you. Lola Wati, how are you doing? Gita Baldeo Palms Chicharan, good evening to you. Mr. John Nimad, good evening, good evening. You're locked on to the Caribbean Voice presentation of the Mind Body Connection. Mr. Deo Moti, I can't wait to see the beautiful Deo Moti and the beautiful Angela Moti as they are performing on the Concert for Hope June 29 at the Sip and Chat restaurant. Orlando, here we're coming. The Caribbean Voice presentation of Concert for Hope. I hope to see you guys. If you have someone living in Orlando, send them our flyer. It's on our Facebook wall. And I hope to see you guys there. I will read the comment of Linai when we return. Gita Baldeo, good night to you. Good night to each and every one of you. Lynn, good night, good night. Mr. John Nimat, thank you very much. Pam, how you doing? Let's go to the DJ and we'll be right back. And yes, being a good human is being kind. Well, good evening and welcome back to the Caribbean Voice presentation of the Mind Body Connection. Let's welcome all our new viewers and welcome Mr. Anand Budram, the founder of the Caribbean Voice. He was a guest last week in our studio and we did a fantastic job. We still urge you guys to mail your donation, whether it's $1 or $5, to the address I pinned in the box. Mail your address. We do appreciate all your donation. It's going for a really good cause. Good night to each and every one of you locked on to Island Zone Radio. Well, Mr. Kenneth, let's go full-blown into our conversation. Remember, folks, pay attention, and if you want to share something with us, share it. You can always go back and do some research or talk to your doctor for more professional advice.
Yes, I see Mr. Vishnu Bagwandin. This is the start of the program, and if you cannot say something nice to help our viewers, I don't think that you should really comment at all and say anything. All I've been reading now is your negative comments. So please, as you know a lot of things, just enlighten all of us and our viewers in all the things that you know and how you make that connection with the mind-body connection. All right? So what is ADHD? Attention Deficit Hyperactive Disorder is one of the most common mental disorder affecting children. An estimated of 8.4% of children and 2.5% of adults have ADHD. ADHD is often first identified in school-age children when it leads to disruption in the classroom or problems at home or at school with their schoolwork. It can also affect adults, but it is more common. It is said it is more common among boys or girls. Let's talk about there is 3 types of ADHD. They break it down into 3 types. It's in an active type. Following symptoms occur, doesn't pay close attention to details or make careless mistake in school or job task, have problems staying focused or task or activities such as during lectures, conversation or long reading, doesn't seem to listen when spoken to, seems to be elsewhere, does not follow through on instructions, and doesn't complete schoolwork, chores or job duties, may start tasks but quickly lose the focus. And we were saying, Shanaz, is that if you get, as parents, you have to give these children chores to do, but give them short chores. Don't give them no long drawn out chores to do, because you will lose them.
Right, their attention span is not there as they're not able to focus, interrupting, trouble waiting on their turns, emotional turmoil, their fidgetness, and they're unable to finish tasks.
Right, and they have a problem organizing task and work. For instance, does not manage time well. They are messy, disorganized work, misses deadline, avoid or dislike task that requires sustained mental effect, such as preparing reports and completing forms. Often lose things needed for tasks or daily life, such as school, paper, books, wallet, keys, cell phone, and eyeglasses. You know, it's easily distracted. They are easily distracted. Forget daily tasks such as doing chores and running errands. Older teens and adults may forget to return cell phone, pay bills, and keep appointments. Then we also have hyperactive, impulsive type. This is where they fidget or tap their hands or feet, or they always moving around in their seat while they're sitting down. Runs around climbing where it's inappropriate, unable to play or do leisurable activity quietly, always on the go, as if it's driven by like a motor car. They're always on the go, don't want to sit one place. They always talk too much.
And in Guyana, you said they got stinging nettle. They cannot sit still.
Exactly.
Right? That's a common term we use in Guyana. They get stinging nettle or they're full of sugar. They're having a sugar rush.
Yeah, exactly. So absolutely. We said they talk too much, blurs out an answer before a question has been finished. For instance, may finish people's sentence, and you know, when they got husband or wife, people say it's a good thing. Well, then you get to know each other. Well, children is different.
Oh, okay.
You know, you don't want them to do this. You want them to listen what the parents has to say or anybody else has to say before they blur out their question. And sometimes as adult, we do that sometimes. We don't allow people to finish their sentences.
You know them that well, you can complete it for them.
Right. They have difficulty waiting his or her turn as while waiting in lines. They don't like to wait and stay one place. Interrupts or intrudes on others. for instance, cuts into conversation, games, or activities, or starts using other people's things without permission, older teens and adults may take over what others are doing. So let's talk about how do you know that someone, how you can diagnose someone. You have to really monitor these children. Excuse me. You have to monitor them home. The teacher help them to monitor them at school. Diagnosis involve gathering information from parents, teachers, and others, filling out checklists and having a medical evaluation, including vision and hearing screening. And this is to rule out, they do this to rule out any kind of medical condition. The symptoms are not result of people or persons being defiant or hostile or unable to understand a task or instructions. The cause of ADHD, scientists have not yet identified the specific cause of ADHD. There is evidence that genetic contributes to ADHD. For example, 3 out of 4 children with ADHD have a relative with a disorder. And sometimes I want to feel that parents or the family may not have all those signs and symptoms to display, so you may not know that they have this, but it's inside of them.
Or might skip a generation and comes back, so by the time you reach up to the 3rd generation, you forget the sign or the symptoms that a previous family member had, to know the history of your family. So that's why it's so important to our family tree to know what we have, such as diabetes, hypertension. I could say my grandma had diabetes, but if you skip a generation and you forget, where this is coming from, it's all good to make a note of.
Yes, that's why a lot of people like to know their family history and their family background. So other factors that may contribute to the development of ADHD includes being born prematurely, children who prematurely born, brain injury, and that could happen while the child is in the birth canal coming through. Sometimes some children, it takes them a while to get out of their
delivery.
Exactly.
Right,
so yes.
delivery.
Then you have mother and parents. The mother who's smoking, also they're using alcohol, having extreme stress during pregnancy, and as you and I know that not I know, but it's difficult during pregnancy for a woman to go through that 9 months of pregnancy. We find that it's very hard, and so that's why when a woman is pregnant, it's good to make them be comfortable and let them go through an easy pregnancy. And a husband, you don't give them any problems or so. So now we're going to come back after some greetings. We're going to come back with treatment of ADHD.
Mr. Joe Thomas, good night to you. Thank you very much. He said so many people are being affected by this, and early diagnoses are the best for anything. Yeah, that's right. Your health is your wealth. See your doctor today. Most of us are paying quite a bit when it comes to insurance, so why not use it as a protector to know what's good for us and what we can do to improve our health. Mr. Vishnu, good night, good night. Love is in the air. You should always have love for yourself and others around you. The best gift to give is love. Mr. John from Queens, namaste to you, our #1 supporter when it comes to the mind-body connection. And hey, Miss Lene, good night to you. I believe everyone is getting sick. Mr. Joe Thomas, thank you very much. I hope you guys had a fantastic day. Every Monday, we are here, the Caribbean Voice. Fiona Stewart, good night to you. Good night to everyone locked on to us in Guyana or wherever you're from. Well, let's go with our DJ, and we'll be right back reading. And the beautiful Una Prasad. Good night, Auntie Una. How are you doing tonight? Can adults men have ADHD? Well,
absolutely, yes, yes.
Good night to each and every one of you. Let's go with a tune, and we'll be right back.
Hi, Lena. Good night. Hope you are doing well. I know you said you have a headache. Just take 2 Tylenol and get some rest.
A lot of folks say sometimes, Shanaz, you don't take pills. I don't believe in taking pills. If I have a headache, I will relax for a few minutes, meditate, and hopefully it goes away. The other day I had a really bad headache, and I was urging for that Tylenol, but I said, you know what, I will wait it out. Relax, meditate, have a cup of tea. And my, a little girl said, tea is very good for headache, so try a cup of tea.
Vishnu, if you want to you want to say anything, you can go right ahead and type it in, and we'll read it so that our audience could hear what you're saying. So
and then you'll have a voice.
Yeah, you
So
will have more than a voice.
We're glad to read all your comments. Do give us your feedback and your input. You're locked on to the Caribbean Voice presentation every Monday, the Mind-Body Connection. Let's go.
हमको कहते सुपरमैन ऑन कर लो हैंडी कैम फ्रॉम AM to PM बंदे एक्चो सर्विसमैन ਤੈਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਲਵ ਕਰਦਾ ਬੇਮਤਲਬ ਕਰਦਾ ਬਾਹੋਂ में आ सोनिए बस आज रात के लिए साडी तां देसी है अदा साडे ते हो जानी फिदा बाहों में आ सोनिए बस आज रात के लिए दूसरे को हम सोने ना दे मैं तेरा हीरो हाँ हीरो मैं तेरा हीरो तू हॉट लगदी लखां दा नोट लगदी मौका मिला है अभी होगा ना फिर ये कभी सानू तू टच कर ले मजा तू मच कर ले बाहों में आ सोनिए बस आज रात के लिए दूसरे को सोने न दे तू मेरा हीरो मेरा हीरो मैं तेरा हीरो सुनो जरा अमीरो बंदा मैं रब दा मैं फ्रेंड सब दा देखे दुनिया के कोने पसंद दोनों ही सोने दुनिया में अपने चर्चे हम पे करती है खर्चे लाइफ में ऐसा धोया मैं जाग बजा के सोया सूरज से मैंने बोला ये बोला बोला सुबह होने ना दे साथ खोने ना दे एक दूसरे को सोने ना दे तू मेरा हीरो तू मेरा हीरो हाँ हीरो मैं तेरा हीरो कहते सुपरमैन ऑन कर लो हैंडी कैम फ्रॉम AM to PM बंदे अच्छो सर्विसमैन मेरा हीरो मेरा हीरो मेरा हीरो
Well, you are our hero. Thank you for sharing the link. Guys, support Island Zone Radio, our #1 radio, and we have our boat cruise jamming on the river by DJ Fest. Hey, we have the dancing sensational Mr. D-Raj, Gairam, Randy Reckless, and our queen out of Guyana, Chutney Queen Fiona Singh will be there jamming on the river part 4. I've been to part 1, 2, 3 and it was fantastic. Hey, not forgetting all the wonderful DJs and hosts you have right here on Island Zone Radio. Saturday, June 29, NYC. Elite Sound and Island Zone Radio present. It's a Hawaiian team and I know Mr. Kenneth will be getting on board. And believe me, you'll have fun. It's a fun boat cruise. So guys, get your tickets June 29 and let's jump on the river with the Island Zone team. You'll see the sensational D-Raj, Diaram, and Fiona Singh will be rocking that boat. The date again, June 29, NYC. And if you're in Orlando, June 29, Sip and Chat Restaurant, the Caribbean Voice presentation of the Concert for Hope. It's, it's a show we're doing once or twice a year. We're coming to Schenectady, Orlando, Guyana, NYC. Mark your calendars, June 29, Orlando, Sip and Chat Restaurant. We have the beautiful Angela Moti, and you've seen her perform before.
Yes, yes.
She's a beautiful and talented singer. We have out of New York, Mr. Bollywood, Anthony Prasad, Satesh Udayaram, Nati Ramutar, and the cast continue. They're volunteering their voice and their effort for a really good cause. It's for our non-for-profit organization, the Caribbean Voice. So tell a friend to come and support us June 29 in Orlando. July 13, we're in NYC at Ross Code Lounge. July 13, NYC and Guyana. August 3rd, we're heading your way. Maureen Ramcharan, good night to you. Hey, Nana, good night, good night. Usha Azimula, Linai, good night. Mr. Jacob Ramsami in Toronto, good night to you. And the beautiful Auntie Sheila Mater Prasad, good evening to each and every one of you. I love that song as well. You are my hero. And we can always be someone's hero. You never know. Make a difference. If you have an elder neighbor, do check on them.
Absolutely. So Shanaz, let's talk about this because we're going to go to treatment soon. So we know that ADHD, there is no X-ray that you can do to find out if someone has ADHD. Again, we have to gather information from the parents, from teachers, even from you going to church, family members who, and then the doctor will do their own observation. They have a checklist that they're going to use to diagnose this child. As we know, there is 3 types. There are an inactive type, hyperactive, impulsive type, or a combined both. And a diagnosis based on the symptoms that have occurred over a period of 6 months. So this really takes time. It's not that easy.
Over amount of 6 months.
Exactly.
6
So
months.
it's going to take some time, and one has to be very patient. If you're a parent, you have to be very patient with this diagnosis because you don't want to rush things and to be diagnosed wrongfully.
And start your kids on medications and all kind of thing.
Exactly.
And
So
diet plays a very important role. We'll get into that a little
we
bit
will
too.
talk about diet. I do have a lot of information on diet. Let's go to treatment. ADHD and the school age child. Teachers and school staff can provide parents and doctors with information to help evaluate behavior and learning problems and can assist with behavioral training. However, school staff cannot diagnose ADHD. So, excuse me, we have to get a doctor to really diagnose this. The teachers and parents have a big part to play in this, whereby they help collect data and they feed it to the doctor so the doctor could come up with these diagnoses.
Well, in NYC, it was a beautiful day, Usha, and everyone was barbecuing. Linai, good night. Maureen Ramcharan, thank you very much. Natasha, good night to you.
Students who ADHD impairs their learning may qualify for special education under the Individual, and this is in New York, in the United States with Disabilities Education Act, or for a Section 504 plan for children who do not require special education under the Rehabilitation Act of 1973. Children with ADHD can benefit from study skills, instructions, changes in the classroom setup, alternative teaching techniques, and the modified curriculum. And what this goes to, like special education, where there is not a lot of students in the class, it's just a handful of students in the class, and the teacher is going to help them
So
and will be able to focus on them more. I see we have Miss Nayan. locked on from Guyana. That's the chairman mother. Our DJ mother, she is in Guyana and they're here and she's watching, always supporting our program. Thank you very much. I'm glad that Ryan Jeffrey is here. We just talked about your boat ride.
Jamming on the River, June 29. Get your tickets today. It's a Hawaiian team. And yes, Elite Sound and Island Zone Radio presents Jamming on the River Part 4. Get your tickets today. You'll have fun. Believe me, it's a fun boat cruise. I've been on all of them. Randy Reckless and the beautiful Fiona sing with the dancing sensational Mr. D-Raj Gairam. And hey, I saw a video of Mr. Ryan Jeffrey dancing earlier. So maybe he'll be the guest dancer on that boat cruise. But then again, he promised that he'll be a guest dancer for my event, Concert for Hope, July 13th. So, you know, we're always looking forward for beautiful dances by yours truly, DJ Fest Ryan Jeffrey.
And, you know, Shanaz, I'm glad that he's on now so he can hear me. And, you know,
World Fair Marina boarding from...
That's exactly. I know he changed the venue. And, you know, who wouldn't want to support Ryan? You know, he's a man behind Island Zone Radio, and he's been supportive to us, the Caribbean Voice. You know, anytime I call on him, he is there. So I will definitely, no matter what happens, I will have to support him.
That's right.
You know.
Support the folks and surround yourself with positive and inspiring people. It's a new year. Happy Memorial Day going out to each and every one of you. Let's remember our veterans who put their life on the line for us. It's not about the barbecue and the drinking and the partying,
yes.
but it's about the veterans who put their lives about serving our community. Hey, Robin Kisoon, good night to you. Thank you very much. Yes, I saw him dancing, and everyone will make that public so everyone can see what a great dancer Mr. Ryan Jeffrey is. Well, for those of you who missed our pledge, we're calling upon JP Suku, Antipuna Prasad, Harold, Julie Singh, Gopal Budram, Rampatov Singh in Toronto, the beautiful Zalini Bagru, Ramesh Ali, Mr. Vishan Shivcharan, Ravin Kisoon, your name made the list, Auntie Razia Hussain, the beautiful Sonia Debedin, Mr. Miles Alex, and Sateshwar Prasad of Toronto. This is your pledge to make a donation to the Caribbean Voice. We are a non-for-profit organization, and week after week we'll be calling upon some of our loyal members and followers of the Caribbean Voice. Every Monday, 8 to 10 p.m., you're watching the Caribbean Voice presentation of the Mind-Body Connection.
Yes, and I hear Shanaz saying to make a small donations. I am sure if you guys want to make a big, but if you want to make a big donation,
we refuse a big donation, but we're just asking for $5 or $10 for the Caribbean Voice, a non-for-profit organization. But feel free to write that check out for $100 or $1,000. You never know. The more you give, the more you get. You give $1, you might get $5 back.
You know, and you know, Shanaz, it feels good. To be part of this, to help someone.
Azimola, she made a big donation last week because she know we have a couple of pallets we're hoping to send to Guyana with medical equipment such as wheelchairs, scooters, walkers, pampers, and a lot of clothing. So she made a big donation that's helping us towards the shipping of those pallets. So thank you, Usha. And we're looking forward for more donations coming up your way. The beautiful Gita Baldeo, good night to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much for all your donations and all your help. It goes a far way, and you know it's good to be part of this to help those who really need help, especially you know that you saved someone who was about to commit suicide, and you were able to stop them and to do some intervention and prevent them from doing so. And surprisingly, I was reading something on suicide, and a lot of people who try to commit suicide and have managed to live, and all of them said that they are so glad that somebody came by and helped them.
Sometimes all they need is an ear to listen or someone to speak to.
Yes, and they said that if they didn't make it in this life, they would not have met so much wonderful people in life.
Our motto is 5 minutes of your time could save a life. Be an advocate. Say no to suicide, no to domestic violence. Treat our women right. And if you know someone who's treating them bad, well, do advise them to reach out and get help. We are the Caribbean Voice. We're here to help each and every one of you. Hey, Naina. Good night to you. Robin Kisoon, Una Prasad. She's always supporting when it comes to the Caribbean Voice and all the non-for-profit organizations. Mr. Joe Thomas, your name made that list. Yes, happy 53rd Independence Day going out to all our Guyanese friends and family abroad and in Guyana as well.
Absolutely. Congratulations to Ghana. Like I said in one of my postings, Shanaz, and I'm sorry I'm moving away from my topic, but we'll get there. We have come a far way, but I would like to see that Guyanese, we have a lot more work to do, especially when it comes to domestic violence in Guyana and suicide. And I really believe and I hope that the government need to pay more attention to this. Too much of our women is being killed in our lovely
I saw
Guyana.
your post and it made a difference. Yeah, stop the violence today. And women need to stand up for themselves. They need to get self-defense course and say no to bullying. Abuse is a form of bullying,
Yeah.
And say no to bullying, say no to suicide, no to domestic violence, self-empowerment. Let's say goodnight to the beautiful Bibi Ahmad, our very own Caribbean voice. Robin, good night to you, Linai. Let's get back with our topic, ADHD tonight.
So
much to talk about.
Yes, and let's talk about ADHD and adults. Many adults with ADHD do not realize they have the disorder. A comprehensive evaluation typically includes a review of past and current symptoms, a medical exam, and the history, and the use of adult rating scales, also a checklist. And me and you we talk about a checklist about depression, and so they have one for ADHD. I didn't know that they really had one until recently. I wish I had one. We could have played with it today.
We will post that checklist in our chat box, and you guys could do a self-exam, or play it with a friend. It's always fun.
Yes, and behavior management strategies, such as a way to minimize distractions and increase structure and organization, and involving immediate family member, can also be helpful. ADHD causes kids to be distracted, hyperactive, impulsive, and sometimes as parents we wonder what's going on, especially if we don't know exactly what's going on, if that's normal for their age. ADHD makes it harder for kids to develop the skills and that controls attention, behavior, emotions, and activities. As a result, they often act in ways that are difficult for parents to manage because they are impulsive. Kids with ADHD, at first the parents might not realize that these behaviors are part of ADHD. It may seem like a child is just misbehaving. ADHD can leave parents feeling stressed out, frustrated, and disrespected. But it is not true. I'm going to say this again. This is what the child is going through. This is what the brain actually is telling the child what to do. So how can we do this? And we'll see that the children can go on medication, but we'll talk about that later on the program. Also, at first, parents might not realize that this behavior are part of ADHD. Parents may feel embarrassed about, as we said before, about what others may think of the child behavior. But as you know, Shanaz, that when you're born, and we need to stop being so judgmental on people, because it's tough if you have a child. If you have a child that's have a diagnosis of any kind, it is not easy. You know what I'm saying? I see the beautiful Neela Pawaru, Narayan, Janice, thank you very much. You're late, but still we are happy to have you on. Always good to have you on. Parents may feel embarrassed, as we said, about what others think, but who cares really what other things about you? You have your life to live, and go ahead and live your life, and just make sure you live there. You help your child to help cope with this difficult diagnosis. The skill that control attention, behavior, and activity don't come naturally. When parents learn about ADHD and which parenting approach works best, they can help to improve the child and to help the child in so many other ways. So
good evening to the beautiful Rose Worrell. She said, I have a child of ADHD. Well, do share your comments and all their experiences in our chat box. We'll read them out online. Mr. Jacob Ramsamy, good night to you. Lena, good night. Thank you guys very much for tuning in to the Caribbean Voice presentation of the Mind Body Connection every Monday. Mr. Kenneth is still recovering, so bear with him as we try to bring you a very informative program every Monday right here on Island Zone Radio.
Absolutely. And Shanaz, I will say, and I know I will say it again, if your child has ADD, ADHD, in anything like, in fact, diabetes and hypertension, one of the best thing that you can do as parents or as any family member is to go and read up about these things. When the doctor tells you that your child have this or you have diabetes, go ahead and read about these things, of these diagnoses, and in this way it's going to help you to help the child. So make sure you do all of these things to help your child and yourself and make your life a little more easier. What parents can do, really, parents is as important as any other part of ADHD treatment, and they're vitally important too. Just like the doctor, the way the parents respond can make ADHD better or worse. If a child has been diagnosed with ADHD, be involved, learn all that you can do about ADHD. Follow the treatment your child care provider recommends. Keep all recommended therapy appointment. If your child takes ADHD medication, give them at the recommended time. Don't change the dose without checking with your child doctor. Keep your child medicine in a safe place. And a safe place, and where other can get them. And as parents, don't think that you're going to play doctor. Don't go play doctor with your child medication and say, I'm not going to work. People does this all the time. That, you know what, I'm going to give this child today, I'm not going to give them tomorrow. You need to do exactly what the doctor says. Keep them on that regimen.
The beautiful Rose Worrell said you need to work with them. So yes, we need to work with them. Mr. Jai Prasad, good evening to you. How you're doing? Thank you for locking on to Island Zone Radio, always supporting us on the radio waves on Island Zone Radio. The Caribbean Voice, Neela Pawar, good night to you. She said, early intervention offers by school also. Speak to their social worker at your school. Mr. Jai, thank you very much. Rose, thank you very much for your comments. Keep them coming. We love to read your comments on air, especially if you do have a child who have ADHD.
Yes, and I see my friend Jai is locked on. Thank you very much. This is your boy Kenneth. My voice is going, but I'm holding on for glory. I really need to share this thing. And I see Rose Worrell says in Ghana, they need to know more about this. And Rose, as one of our listeners here, thank you for tuning in. And what you can also do is to share our program to parents and to friends. So they could hear about this, because this is one of the reasons why we are doing this program here. The Caribbean Voice and Shanaz and every one of us, Neela Pawaru, we all come together, and then Budram, so we could get all this information shared with you guys, so you can help each other, and you can always have a good family and help the family to live in harmony with these diagnoses. Know that ADHD affect your child. What you know is better for you. Every child is different, and we always say we are all individual. What may work for one may not work for the other. Identify the difficulties your child has become because of ADHD. Some kids need to get better at paying attention and listening. Others need to get better at slowing down. Ask your child therapist for tips and ways how you can help your child practice and improve. So always, does this happen to you, get involved with your doctor, talk to your school, the teacher at the school, see what tips they can give you. Social workers, see what they could tell you, because they are with your child at least 8 hours or 7 hours a day with your children, and they can help you.
Neela Pawaru said it's all early intervention is always good, and just like a doctor, sometimes they would recommend to see a neurologist and then a psychologist. So guys, do not make those diagnoses on your own. Make sure you take them to a specialist for observation. Good night to the beautiful Julie Singh. And Julie Singh's name was on our list tonight of volunteer donors for the Caribbean Voice. Good night to each and every one of you. Locking on to Island Zone Radio. It's after 9 p.m. What's for dinner? Hey, Zabita, good night to you.
So know how AD affect your child, and as I said, it's very important. Focus on teaching your child one thing at a time. Don't bring a lot of things for them to do one time. Exactly. So don't try to work on everything at once. Start small. Pick one thing at a time and focus on them. Praise your child's effort. Hug them. A lot of times we don't hug our children, but hugging your kids, goes a far way. Discipline with purpose and warmth. Learn what discipline approaches are best for your child with ADHD and which can make ADHD worse. Get coaching from your child therapist, as we said before, on ways to respond to your child's behavior, whether it's negative or positive. Kids with ADHD might be sensitive to criticism, and none of us, Shanaz, even adult, we don't like people to criticize us.
You cannot cope
So
with
imagine
criticism.
these children. Correcting their behavior is best done in a way that encouraging and supportive rather than being too punishing,
Or
you know what I'm
dismissing
saying?
them.
Yes.
You have to listen to them, give them that time and that attention that they require and they need. And remember, they're individual. Not everybody is the same. All our kids are different. So give them that love and affection, and do give them an ear when they need to speak.
Exactly. So, and everything that you do, add some love to it, and it's going to take you a far way, and also will help the child. Talk about it. Don't shy away from talking with your child about ADHD, especially if they reach a certain age where you can really communicate with them. Help kids understand that having ADHD is not their fault, and they can learn ways to improve the problem it may causes. Spend special time together every day. Make time to talk and enjoy relaxing, fun activities with your child. Even if it's just a few minutes, give your child your full attention. Compliment positive behavior. Don't overpraise, but do not comment when your child does something good. Yes, but do comment when your child do something. When you catch them in the act doing something good, you let them know same time.
But they're making a big effort.
Yes, you did
sometimes
something
it takes
good.
a
Thank
lot.
you very
They're
much.
trying their very best, but we cannot appreciate it. You don't know how much it takes for them to complete a task. So let's show our love and appreciation. And sometimes, as they say, having ADHD is not a bad thing. There could be very creative folks. So give them that love and nurture them to become somebody special.
Exactly. So let your child know that you believe in them. Your child. See all the good things about him. Build resilience by keeping your relationship with your child in a positive and loving way. Like I said, all this doesn't have to be negative. Let there be a lot of positive in rearing your child with ADHD. And I want to say, as grandparents, we have our grandparents here, and in Guyana and some parts of we have extended family, and so I want to say too, we all collectively have a responsibility when it comes to taking care of these children, how we talk to them, what we tell them. We all have a part to play, and it's important that we play it in a positive role and we show much love. Work with your child's school. Talk with your child's teacher to find out if your child should be with the individualized teaching. If they can do that for your child, meet often with your child's teacher to find out how your child is doing. And one thing I know, that if you go and speak to your school, your child's teacher, they will know that you are interested. You want to know about your child. You want to know how they're doing. You want to play a really big part in all of this. So a good thing is to find out what's going on, and
It's all
always let
about
it be
teamwork. You're all on the same team for a well-groomed and disciplined child. It's not all about discipline. Sometimes you might try your best, and it's just his personality. Bear with him. You have to have a lot of love and a lot of patience.
Connect with others for support and awareness. You can also join a support organization for ADHD like CAD to get updates and treatment and information. Find out if you have ADHD. ADHD is often inherited, as we said earlier before. The kids with ADHD might not know that they have it. When parents with ADHD get diagnosed and treated, it helps them with their best, bring out best of their parents. We're going to ask our DJ to play a tune for us, and when we come back, we will talk more about parenting. As you know, Shanaz, I keep the focus a lot today. We keep the focus, both you and I, and the focus today is how do we as parents and guardian help those who have been diagnosed with ADHD and ADD. What is our role? And we all do have a role to play. If we have someone in our household or one of our relatives having this kind of diagnosis, what is our role? How do we help them to live a better life? Not because sometimes we are not, what we said, it takes a village to raise a child, and that's Michelle Obama words.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So
And Rose said, yes, we have to know everything about our child and work with our teachers. Hey, Mr. Dan Raj Ramcharan, good night to you. Thank you for joining us on Island Zone Radio. Linai, good night to you. Good night, Mr. John Nimad, Gita Baldev. Mr. Ravin Kisoon seemed to be keeping our chat box quite occupied. Good night to you, Ravin. How are you doing? Ryan Jeffrey, DJ Fest. Let's go with our DJ in-house today. The Mind Body Connection every Monday, 8 to 10 p.m. right here on Island Zone Radio. And speaking of Island Zone Radio, I urge you guys to jam on the river, Part 4. Get your tickets today and let's go get on board with the beautiful Fiona Singh, Sensational D-Raj Gairam, and Mr. Randy Reckless, and all the wonderful DJs they have right here on Island Zone Radio. Let's go. Presentation of the Mind-Body Connection. Nothing can keep us down. We are here representing the Caribbean Voice, a non-for-profit organization, every Monday, 8 to 10 p.m. for our presentation of the Mind-Body Connection. Mr. Hiram has all the information we need to proceed to our ending of our program. Thank you for joining us right here on Island Zone Radio.
So here we go now again. Thank you guys. The continuation of our program, Tips for Parents. Following an example that might help with your child's behavior, create a routine. Try to follow the same schedule every day from wake-up time to bedtime. You don't want to get the child disorganized and to do different things every day. Get organized. Encourage your child to put school bag, clothes, and toys in the same place every day so your child will be less likely to lose them. Manage distractions, turn off the television, limit noise, and provide a clean workspace when your child is doing homework. Some children with ADHD learn well if they are moving or listening to background music. Watch your child and see what works. Limit choices. Offer choices between a few things so that your child doesn't get overwhelmed and overstimulated. For example, offer choices between a few options such as this outfit or that one. this meal or that one, or this toy or that one. So you give them choices. You don't like
Give them
you cook.
option. Don't
That's
give
right.
them
Let's
a
say cook,
one-way street.
right. You cook fish curry today, and they have to eat the fish curry. It's good to give them an option of what something to choose, and that really help them to feel they're important too. Be clear and specific when you talk with your child. Let your child know you are listening by describing what you heard them saying. Use clear, brief directions when they need to do something. Help your child plan, break down complicated tasks into simpler, shorter steps. For long tasks, start early, and taking breaks may help reduce the stress. So don't plan tasks for your child that's gonna
Lengthy
last like 4 or 5 hours. And
We already know they have a problem focusing, self-focus,
yes,
and they cannot complete a task. So you don't want to give them that opportunity to let them feel less than. Make them bring out the best of their abilities.
That's right.
Give them short tasks so they could finish it and feel motivated
and complete.
and complete the task.
Use goals and praise, like we said, other rewards. Use a chart or list goals and track positive behavior. Then let your child know they are done well. And by telling your child you reward their efforts in other things that they do. Be sure that the goals are realistic. Baby steps are important. So as we said, do goals that's attainable and that's not difficult for the child. Discipline effectively instead of yelling and spanking. Use timeout or removal of privileges as consequences for inappropriate behavior. We are not in Guyana no more, especially for those of us who are in the United States and other part of the world. In Guyana we have this punishment. You beat your children when they do wrong things. Now we learn, we are in the third world in this country.
Discipline
we talk and we do time out, which is better. Create positive opportunity. Children with ADHD may find certain situations stressful. Find out and encourage what your child does well, whether in school, sports or music, or whether they're playing, can help create positive experience. Provide a healthy lifestyle. And let's talk about food. Let them eat a balanced diet. Help them keep physically active and sufficient sleep, as we have talked before. This sleep is very important. They can help keep ADHD symptoms from getting worse. And I was talking to Dr. Tannen. We talk about this in such a detail, and he told me I need to let our viewers know too that with children with ADHD, we should not let them use coffee and food coloring. This would bring out the triggers more symptoms would come out
such as the
of this.
multivitamins, that have food coloring in. It's not very good. Deficiencies in certain type of food can worsen your ADHD. So look at the food that's good. Always get your dietitian, your nutritionist, and your doctor involved when it comes to your diet. As they say, zinc, iron, magnesium, vitamin B, and multivitamins are very good. A daily dose of omega-3 fatty acid, which you can find in salmon, tuna, or sardine, is very important for brain and nerve cell development. And it reduces the symptoms of ADHD by 50%. So if you know a daily dose will help you to be the best you could be, why not eat it?
And, good thing to always do too, like you take them for walks so they get a little tired, and that would help them and stimulate them so that when they go to bed, they sleep.
Let's say welcome back to Mr. Deo Moti, the beautiful Gita Ram Prasad, and our audience, Lina Una Prasad, and the beautiful Neela Pawaru. Thank you guys for staying with us. Mr. John from Queens, Nothing Keep Us Down. Every Monday, 8 to 10 p.m., the Caribbean Voice. We are here, and we love you guys. Thank you for sharing our live link. Thank you for telling your friends about the Caribbean Voice. We are a non-profit organization. And Lena said, teach them. You follow daily routine. That's right. John from Queens, good evening to you. Our editor when it comes to the Caribbean Voice presentation of the Mind-Body Connection. You can also watch us on Spectrum TV and Files. That is Spectrum TV channel 56. Every Wednesdays, 10 a.m. You'll see Kenneth and myself on channel 56, channel 34. And remember, you can watch our program every Saturday, 4:30 p.m. on Spectrum TV as well.
Yes, I heard, I said Neela wrote, yes,
Cod liver
no,
oil capsule.
yes, and no food coloring or no caffeine. And, especially children, it's not wise to give them coffee, to start them out with coffee.
Right.
It brings out the unpleasantness of ADHD, especially if they are taking medication. Maintain a positive attitude. Your best asset for helping your child meet the challenge of ADHD are your positive attitude and common sense. When you're calm and focused, you are more likely to be able to connect with your child, helping him or her to be calm and focused as well. Keep things in perspective. Remember that your child's behavior is related to a disorder. Let me say this again. Remember that your child behavior is related to a disorder of the brain. Most of the time, it is not intentionally holding on to your sense of humor. What embarrassing today may be funny family story 10 years ago, and like
And
years
it's not
ago.
a lack of discipline.
Exactly so. And sometimes as children, we sit down and we say, now that we get older, we start things among our siblings and cousins. Oh, what I used to do when I was a child. Oh, I was so wicked. I was so bad. I was
Speaking
all
of
of
wicked
this.
and bad, let's big up Mr. Apache Warrior, the wine and Godong guy. Yes, he was wicked and bad since he's small, and he's still wicked and bad. So, Mr. Warrior, big up to you. Mr. Warrior is always volunteering his effort, his time, and his vocals when it comes to the Caribbean Voice Concert for Hope. Is June 29 in Orlando, Sip and Chat Restaurant, July 13 in NYC, Code Lounge, and hey, in Guyana. Big up to you guys who are supporting us in Guyana. We are heading your way. Classic Hotel it is. Good night to each and every one of you. The famous John from Queens is on. Neela, good night to you. Little or no caffeine, she said.
Yeah, and I said no caffeine.
And reading up on the children who have asthma, a little bit of caffeine, if you don't have meds around, it's good because it opens up your airways, it opens up your lungs, and it helps you breathe. But again, moderation, and just because you need it at that time, that coffee might be good. So it's a little short-term remedy you just learn. And if you have asthma, cherry drink is the best. It's very good. And yes, I learned firsthand, if you don't have albuterol and nebulizer, try drinking cherry bark tea. Break a cherry leaf, make some tea, and drink that. Is very good for your lungs as well.
Well, it's good to know. It's good to know. Don't sweat the small stuff and be willing to make some compromise. Always compromise. One chore left undone isn't a big deal when your child has completed 2 other plus tasks for the day on their homework. If you are a perfectionist, well, you know what it says about perfectionist. And imagine that you have a parents who are perfectionists. You will not only be constantly dissatisfied, but also create impossible expectations for your child with ADHD. Believe in your child. Think about or write or make a written list of everything that's positive, valuable, and unique about your child. Trust that your child can learn, change, mature, and succeed. Reaffirm this trust on a daily basis as you brush your teeth and make your coffee. And I want to say one thing, even for adults, we always have to believe in the people who we love, and we're hoping that that one good day that people who have ADHD or anything, that they can change, especially where your children is concerned and where they're young. As parents, you have a big responsibility to help your children
Do
to
not give
attain.
up. Nurture them with love and patience. Remember, having ADHD is not a bad thing. They grow up to be very creative and very inventive people. They could be the next president. They could be the next guy who invents something very meaningful for us, like a new drug. So nurture them and speak to them with patience, love, and affection. Remember, they're hard to focus. We're talking about ADHD tonight, guys. For just the few of you who are just joining us, Auntie Una says she's there listening quietly. Thank you very much. Mr. Shabir Baksh from the No Janjat group. His group is called the No Janjat. It's full of love and loving people. Linai, good night to you. Sami, good night to you. Thank you guys very much. Mr. Warrior, how you doing?
And one thing with Shabir Baksh, I had a brief conversation with him one time, and he doesn't play with his group. He knock you out in a minute.
That's right.
He block
it's all
you.
about
And
love and positivity.
That's a good thing. He always stands for positiveness, Shabir Baksh, and I thank you because you know what I'm talking about. Also, let me say this again. the things that your children do if they are diagnosed, and I said if they are diagnosed, it's not intentional. It is what's going on in their brain. Also, Shanaz, we have talked about self-care months ago, and self-care as your child role model as most important source of strength. You are the one who are going to try hold things together. It is vital that you live a healthy life. If you are overtired or have simple run around out of, or you're running out of patience, you're risk losing sight and structure and support. You know what? You have to be very careful with that. You don't want to burn yourself out. You have to be very careful because your child depends on you. Seek support. One of the most important things to remember in rearing a child with ADHD is that you don't have to do it all alone. Talk to your child, your doctor, your therapist, and your teacher. Also, if you have family members in your home, talk to them. If you're feeling down or if you're feeling overwhelmed, we talk about self-care. Do some self-care for yourself. Walking, reading, do something
If
that
you
you
cannot
like.
take care of yourself, you wouldn't be able to take care of others. So remember, your health is your wealth. 5 minutes of your time could save a life. ADHD is a very serious topic, and you're not doctors, you're parents. Do reach out for medical help and get involved. As Miss Auntie Una said, get involved with the PTA, because the teachers are the ones who's spending the most time with our children. Sometimes they're very observative, and go to a professional for help.
And if you don't take care of your child, and if you get upset with your child, who else going to do it? You have to put in the work, especially for your child. And when they become
We are
elder,
primary caretakers of our children.
take breaks. Friends and family can be wonderful about offering to babysit, but you may feel guilty about leaving your child or leaving the volunteer with a child with ADHD. Next time, accept the offer and discuss honestly how best to handle your child. Take care of yourself, eat right, exercise, and find ways to reduce your stress. Meditation, the word that we talked before, that work. If you get sick,
Mindfulness, do not overwhelm yourself. And as adults, we sometimes don't know how to cope with situation. We put too much stuff on our plate. We cannot deal with stuff. So how do you expect a 10-year-old or a child could be coping with these things of school and home and chores and friends, and then you don't know if they're getting bullied at school. So it could be overwhelming for a child.
take care of yourself, eat right, exercise, and find a way to reduce your stress. Whether it means taking a nightly bath or practicing morning meditation, if you get sick, acknowledge it and get help. And you know what? You have your family, try to get your family involved. I'm sure that someone is going to be willing to help you. Do your best to be neat and organized. Set up your home in an organized way. Make sure that your child knows where everything is, as we said before. And you have to lead by example with neatness and organization as much as possible. Avoid problems by keeping your child with ADHD busy. For kids with ADHD, idle time may exacerbate their symptoms and create chaos in your home. It is important to keep your child with ADHD busy without piling on many things that the child becomes overwhelmed. The benefits of physical activities are endless, as I told you before, like exercise, like go exercise for a walk. It improves concentration, decreases depression and anxiety, and promotes brain growth. Most important for children with attention deficit, however, it is the fact that exercise do help you to sleep better, which you and I know. You exercise, you take a shower, you go to bed,
It's good for
you
adults
sleep,
and it's very good for children.
which in terms can also reduce the symptoms of ADHD, which is a beautiful thing. And you and I know that insufficient sleep can make anyone less attentive, but it can be highly detrimental for kids or children with ADHD. Kids with ADHD need at least much more sleep, and if they don't get a sleep, it can affect them terribly, but tend not to get what they need. The attention problem can lead to overstimulation and trouble falling asleep. As I said before, eliminate coffee from your child diet. Spend 10 minutes cuddling with your child. This would build a sense of love and security, as well as provide a time for them to calm down. As you know, Shanaz, in Ghana, I don't want to say it like this, but we are not that kind of huggy with our children.
We weren't, I must say, we weren't that affectionate, but, living here, I've seen parents and I've seen younger and older parents showing affection. And it seems like the older the parents, the more affectionate they are right now. I've seen grandparents taking their grandchildren to school, giving them a kiss, a hug,
yes,
as they bid farewell to them. Have a good day. And that's how we should share love. Love is the best gift we have to give. And it's sometimes all we need.
Spending 10 minutes of your time cuddling with your child, this will build a sense of love and security, as well as provide a time to calm down. They said use lavender or other aromas in your child's room. The scent may help to calm your child down. Use relaxation tapes as background noise for your child when falling asleep. Even I'm as an adult, Shanaz, I would lay down and I would put on my earpiece with some nice relaxing music to help me sleep when it's not easy. I see Liz is back. Thank you very much. Lena, thank you again for coming on.
Una Prasad, the beautiful Neela Pawar with the Rhine, our very own Caribbean voice. Mr. Shabir back, good night to you. Good night to each and every one of you who still made it back. Yes, we are here every Monday, 8 to 10 p.m. The Caribbean Voice, presentation of the mind-body connection. Yes, Mr. Kenneth have a lot of information, and we love you guys to hit share so someone could benefit from our little conversation. Someone could start taking care of themselves today. Your health is your wealth. It's something you cannot buy in the store. 5 minutes of your time could save a life. Suicide prevention is everybody's business. If you cannot help someone, reach out to us, the Caribbean Voice. We are here to help.
Did you know that, Shanaz, that research have shown that children with ADHD benefits from spending time in nature? For example, going to the park, going to the river. You walk
outdoors.
Outdoor activity is very good. I see Mr. Roshan is locked on.
Good night, Mr. Roshan. Shift to run. Yes, he was there celebrating our 53rd Independence on Liberty Avenue, celebrating with our West Indian folks. Good night to each and every one of you. Liz, good night to you. Mr. Shabir Baksh said, people who have the responsibility of taking care of kids with ADHD needs really keep educating themselves to cope with these kids. That's right.
And Shabir, that's a very important point that you make there, because as parents, the more that you know is better for you and it's going to help you and your children and those around you. What happened if you spend 2 hours
that person will become very lovable and affectionate as you are, Mr. Roshan Shiftran. It's good to give love and affection. And Mr. Roshan is a very loving parent. I've seen that firsthand. He's spending a lot of time with his 2 little cuties, boy and a girl, and he's a very good parent.
Well, I spent actually 2 hours with Roshan, and I can tell he is a really great guy, and hope that sometime down the road that he would agree to some kind of interview so that we could talk. I tell you, it was a great experience meeting him, and I know that we will talk later on down the line.
Good night, Mr. John Nimmet. You are back. That's right. We were locked off our first link, but we are back. The Caribbean Voice every Monday at 8 to 10 p.m. right here on Island Zone Radio. The Caribbean Voice presentation of the mind-body connection.
Kids experience a great reduction of symptoms of ADHD when they play in the park full of grass and trees, that concrete playground. Take note of this promising and simple approach to managed ADHD. Even in cities, most families have access to the park or other natural areas. As you establish the consistent structure, keep in mind that children with ADHD often receive a lot of criticism at school. I want to say that again. Children with these kind of behavioral problems get a lot of criticism at school.
It's a challenge every day.
So when they come home, you want this to embrace these children, embrace them in love, and help them that they would feel comfortable when they're home. You don't want your child to be at school and having problem with the kids, and when they come home,
they're
they
isolated
have
also, and you're grounding them and reprimanding them for their bad behavior. Show love and appreciation, and give them compliments.
Praise is especially important for children who have ADHD because they typically get so little of it. They don't get a lot of attention when I say attention, positive attention, and complaints about their behavior, but little positive reinforcement, a little positive comment or other reward from you can improve attention, concentration, and impulse control of your child with ADHD. Do your best to focus on giving positive praise for appreciate their behavior and tasks of completion, while giving a few negative response as possible to inappropriate behavior and poor work performance. And so reward your child with small achievements that you might take for granted in other children. So even small things, Shanaz, and to our viewers, if you have a child that with ADHD, all these little things really do count for them. It may not be big thing for you, but for the child it may be something that's big.
Because you don't know the effort they're putting into that, and they're really trying. Children who are diagnosed with ADHD are really trying their best, but it's, as we said, it's not their primary reason to be bad. It's just a deficiency that they're lacking of.
Yes, and we're going to have our DJ play a song for us now. We get carried away there just now. So let's hear a song.
Selected by our in-house DJ. Let's go.
सफर एक जरा इंतजार सुन सदाएं दे रही है मंजिल प्यार की ऐ मेरे हम सफर एक जरा इंतजार सुन सदाएं दे रही है मंजिल प्यार की एक कदम एक बार वहीं से खुला है कोई रास्ता वहीं से गिरी है दीवार रोके कब रुकी है मंजिल प्यार की ऐ मेरे हम सफर एक जरा इंतजार सुन सदाएं दे रही है मंजिल प्यार की
The draft is here.
Welcome back to the Caribbean Voice presentation of the Mind Body Connection every Monday, 8 to 10 p.m. right here on Island Zone Radio. We have a few comments as we come to the close of our program for tonight. We do hope you join us back next Monday. Hit share so everyone could see you're locked on to the Caribbean Voice presentation of the Mind Body Connection on Island Zone Radio every Monday. And let's read Mr. Roshan Shifteran's comment as we mentioned that earlier.
Also, be careful of quick diagnosis and medication. Parents' education is very important to learn about ADHD. And Roshan, yes, we said before, it takes at least 6 months observation by parents, teachers, and family to come up with a diagnosis. Liz, thank you for your comment. Thank you for coming back. Yes, we was knocked out by Facebook. She said, I lost you guys. I think adults also have living with ADHD, and people who are diagnosed with this thing is fighting it, and it's hard to deal with sometimes. We need to be patient and show them all the love we can. Absolutely, that's the way to show love and patience, and you just nail it there. Love and patience. We don't have a lot of time, but we have just a few more things I want to tell you guys. Using rewards and consequences. Reward your child with privileges, praise, and activities rather than with food and toys. Change rewards frequently. Kids with ADHD get bored if the reward is always the same. You don't want to do the same thing all the time. You don't want to give them a candy every day. Change it up. Take them for a walk. Take them shopping or do something. Make a chart with points of stars and you award them like when you go to school.
Give them a sticker.
Yes. Immediate reward work better than the promise for a future reward. So don't tell them you're going to give them something next month. Give them the reward at the same time.
It's a little motivation for them as well.
Yes, but small reward leads to a big one, and that also can work. Always follow through with your reward. Don't tell them you're going to do something and you don't do it. The consequences now should be spelled out in advance and occur immediately after your child has misbehaved. Time out and removal of privileges as consequences for misbehavior. Remove your child from situation and environment that triggers inappropriate behavior. If you know something is not good for your child or someone is not good for your child, remove your child from that situation. When your child misbehaves, ask what he or she could have done instead. Then have your child demonstrate it. Always follow through with your consequences. Don't feel sorry for them. I want to say this, which is a fact. It says, children with ADHD may do their best to be good, but still be unable to sit still, stay quiet, or pay attention. They may appear disobedient, but that doesn't mean they're acting out of purpose. ADHD often continues into adult, and so don't wait for your child to outgrow the problem. Treatment can help your child learn, manage, and minimize the symptoms. And medication is often prescribed for attention deficit disorder, but also might not be best option for your child. Effectiveness treatment for ADHD, which can includes education, behavioral therapy, support at home, school exercise, and proper nutrition. Also, Shanaz, I want to add that sometimes psychotherapy can help, sometimes medication, but sometimes the doctors can use a combination of both things, psychotherapy and medication. And I know that with medication, it's something like a trial, see what's going to work. They may order something today and it may not work, and some there's maybe a lot of changes of medication until you find what's
A
really
regimen that actually works for them. Also, diet is very effective, so you have to get involved with your children's care. As teacher, counselor, doctor, do not make these diagnoses on your own. Get involved and have them, observe over a period of time. Doctors do this observation and various testing.
Also, all children benefit from fresh food, regular mealtime, and stay away from junk food. Junk food is not good. Children with ADHD are notorious for not eating regularly. Without parental guidance, these children might not eat for hours and then binge on whatever is wrong. The result of the pattern can be devastating to the child's physical and emotional health. Get rid of junk food in your home. Put fatty and sugary food off limits when eating. Turn off television shows, riddles with junk food ads. Give your child a daily vitamin, as you said, and mineral supplements.
Right. Deficiencies in certain type of food can worsen your ADHD. So give them the food that's good for them. Iron, zinc, magnesium, vitamin B, multivitamin, and remember, a daily dose of omega-3 fatty acid, which is found in salmon, tuna, or sardines, is very important. It's brain food and nerve. It repairs your cells. So guys, it reduces the symptoms of ADHD by 50%. So consume your omega-3 fatty acids today. It's overall brain food, as they say.
Just about 2 minutes more. Teach your child how to make friends. Children with ADHD often have difficulty with simple social interactions. They may struggle with reading social cues, talking too much, interrupt frequently, or come off as aggressive or too intense. Their relative emotional immaturity can make them stand out among children at their own age and make them target for unfriendly teasing. Don't forget, though, that many kids with ADHD are exceptionally intelligent and creative and will eventually figure out for themselves how to get along with others and spot people who aren't appropriate as friends. Moreover, personality traits that might exacerbate parents and teachers may come across to peers as funny and charming. And that goes to the end of our program tonight. I want to say that we are so glad we were able to bring this conversation so you guys could learn something from it, and we want to encourage you guys to share it. I hope in my mind that somebody at least would learn some things, and please share our video. I apologize for my voice, but I don't want to be off another week.
That's right. Every Monday, 8 to 10 p.m. right here on Island Zone Radio is the Caribbean Voice presentation of the Mind-Body Connection. We love to hear from you guys, so keep your comments coming up. Next week, what's our topic next week? Well, you never know. Follow us on our Facebook page. That is the Caribbean Voice Suicide Epidemic, or media page. 5 minutes of your time could save a life, and suicide prevention is
everybody's business. And Shiraz, I want to say to all our viewers that we really do appreciate all of you, despite we may not even get to call your name. And if we miss your name, we sincerely apologize.
Well, Mr. Deodat Prasad, thank you for joining us. Some doctors suggest ADHD did not exist.
Well, there is so much studies, John, my friend John, that there is ADHD, and it's evidence. If you live with someone with a kid who have ADHD or are displaying some of these things with ADD, you will be able to tell that something is going on.
Yep. Maureen Ramcharan, good evening to you. That brings us to the end of our program. Thank you for keeping us company. The Caribbean Voice, we are here to help. If you know someone struggling with domestic violence, alcoholism, child abuse, do reach out to us. We have qualified counselors ready to take your call, and everything you say to us is confidential. On behalf of the Caribbean Voice, myself, Shanaz Hussein, and
Hiram,
saying
Kenneth,
good night. Take care, God bless, and all the best to you and yours.
Be safe.